Hello, everyone, and welcome to my once weekly show. My name is Michelle Marie, and I am the owner and operator of Astrological Tarot. You can find me at astrologicaltarot.com, and I am both a Vedic astrologer with Western astrology experience as well. And I also am a tarot and oracle card reader, and we're going to be doing some readings today. Now, before I get into readings, I kind of want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the sky and what we can do to stay calm. Now, if you've been following my channel, you know that we had a massive amount of wars happen at the beginning of the month in Sagittarius, and then now they're headed into Capricorn, the same wars, and they're opposites. They were opposite Jupiter for the first 15 days, and then for the second 15 days, we're going to be dealing with the planets going into war in Capricorn. And I told everyone that 9th and 10th were going to be very dramatic, and they were. So I just want to talk today about something that I keep hearing in a lot of spiritual spaces throughout the community, especially after we witnessed the murder in Minnesota. And I want to approach this very gently and compassionately and honestly from a Vedic lens. I'm hearing, I don't want to watch the news. I'm protecting my energy. Now let's look at the word my here. Ignoring others' suffering reveals entitlement and fear. Awareness is not fear. Awareness is dharma. And dharma seldom means constant happiness and comfort. Dharma is doing the right thing. So let's begin with something very human and very ancient, because I did a little deep dive into this, because I keep hearing it. This isn't modern psychology. It's survival wisdom that predates language. It's fight, flight, freeze, or sacrifice another. So let's give an example of this. You're walking through the forest and there's a hungry man-eating tiger that starts running directly at you, like you're, oh my gosh, tiger. And not paying attention does not make that tiger disappear. So freezing in fear will leave you very vulnerable, and harming others, like sacrificing, someone nearby, that's psychopathic. So you have two options. You can run or you can fight. So at times, simply just staying out of the area is the wisest response. That's usually what I try to do. But let's say you're in tiger country and you hear some rustling in the bushes, and it's like, oh my gosh, is it wise to leave? Even if it turns out it wasn't a tiger. Yeah, because next time it could be a tiger. So awareness is not paranoia, it's intelligence. We call this Bud or Buddhi in Sanskrit, and it represents planet Mercury, which is where we get our beautiful intellects from. So in Vedic philosophy, avoiding reality is not sattvic or pure. It's tamasic because it's dark, it's kind of inert, and it's based in denial. So the Bhagavad Gita, if you haven't read it, I highly recommend it. It goes into the war of the Mahabharata. I'm using that deck on the show today. It did not begin in a cave. It began on a raging battlefield. So Arjuna looks to Krishna, who is the avatar of God in the play, and he says, he freezes. He goes, I don't want to do this. And Krishna looks at him and says, he doesn't say meditate it away or just, oh, forget it and they'll go away. He says, see the situation clearly and then act without emotional attachment. So this is called karma yoga. And spiritual bypassing, which I'm seeing a lot of, it's using spirituality to avoid reality. It's not liberation. It's avoidance dressed up as light. So I asked myself this question, and I did a little deep dive into it. How can you avoid harming others in a lawless and violent world? Because some of us are feeling a little frightened in what's going on. So first, understand that ahimsa, that means nonviolence, is not a weakness. It does not mean, oh, just be passive and let people do things to you. It doesn't allow for injustice, cruelty, or violence to destroy you or others, because that is himsa, which is violence. So ahimsa is strength guided by wisdom. And in a violent world, the first duty that we have is self-discipline, not being naive. So we have to cultivate this purity of word and deed while also exercising viveka, that's divine discernment, discrimination, the ability to figure out what's going on in front of you. So when danger is very present, it's not adharmic or wrong to protect yourself. And it's adharmic to act from hatred, revenge, and ego. Those are bad things, but you have a right to protect yourself, your family, who you're responsible for. So nonviolence is not non-killing. It's perfect harmlessness in thought, word, and deed. So if you see a tiger charging toward you, you don't sit and chant and go, I'm just going to be spiritual and just pretend it's not there. You move out of its path. And that is not violence, that's intelligence. So to ignore the tiger is tamasic and it's not spirituality. So in a society without a lot of strong laws or boundaries, which some people in the collective are experiencing, the yogic path becomes even more inwardly anchored. So it's important that you purify your mind daily. The violent world can tend to agitate the mind. You can do sadhana. My husband and I do this every day. We do japa, which is recitation of mantras, meditation, pranayama, which is various breathing exercises, and it keeps our inner instrument calm so that our actions are not reactive. So you can also practice ahimsa, which is nonviolence, with viveka. That's that beautiful discernment. And you can avoid harming others where you have a choice. Where there is no choice, you can act with minimum force, without malice, without pride. So it's really important to also control anger before it controls you, because we can do a lot of things we regret in anger, and that's the quickest destroyer of our dharma or doing the right thing. So even when firmness is required, let it arise from clarity, not rage. It's also important that you set boundaries without experiencing any hatred. You can say no, walk away, protect either your home, your body, your family, your assets without wishing harm on anybody. And boundaries are not violence. They are part of your dharmic order while you're here. And you can also do good silently, because in chaotic times, small acts of kindness like feeding, giving a listening ear to someone who's struggling, healing, they become very powerful stabilizers. And seva, which is doing good things without expectation of reward, that is the antidote to despair. You can also detach from outcomes. You cannot purify the whole world. I had this problem when I was teaching, especially high school, but you can purify your response to it. So do your duty and surrender and leave the rest to the divine, because you are just one person. Just do what you can. So, one of the things that I love to like to chant is do good, be good, see God in all. But don't be foolish in the name of goodness, because true nonviolence is not passive submission to chaos. It is inner mastery, outer restraint, and taking the right action at the right time, guided by compassion, courage, and discernment. So this is how one lives without causing harm in a violent world, even if, the people in charge have forgotten to protect society and the most vulnerable in it. So I'm going to give you guys a real life example, and I am going to get to readings, but I just wanted to pass by this, okay? The reason my husband and I left the United States was it was an act of ahimsa. We did not want to get involved in any of the violence that we saw coming, okay? And after reviewing Project 2025 and its organizers, I approached this process without emotion. We call that vairagya, without any type of reactivity. And I asked, who is funding this? What systems are supporting it? What ideologies does it protect? And most importantly, who does it not support? So when I saw it objectively, it's a movement backed by trillions of dollars, massive data centers, long-term infrastructure. This did not happen overnight. It's been happening for decades. And individuals, we cannot compete with this. So then I asked a very personal and dharmic question. Will my Vedic practice and my lifestyle be supported in the United States under the framework of Project 2025? After doing my due diligence and research, the answer was no. So Project 2025 explicitly supports Judeo-Christian ideologies. Other spiritual paths, like the ones we study, including Vedic astrology, mantras, Ayurveda, any non-dual tradition is not protected under these new laws. This was not me reacting in fear. This was me reacting with discernment, research. So Jonathan and I spoke about this openly on our channel, The Boomer Mill. We went into all of the facts and figures. We got them from MIT, Pew Research Center, things like that. You're welcome to check out that interview. But it really, it really brought up to light what I just experienced this week. I had several interviews scheduled on a very popular YouTube channel that has now been shut down for the second time. And it was because this particular person's IP address was in an area that does not allow us to have conversations like this. So this reinforced the concerns that I had about free speech, especially after the last eclipses. And so this is not a United States issue. This will be a global issue, especially moving into 2026, because that's what the eclipses are showing us. So when our voices disappear, when platforms begin vanishing overnight, when our conversations are silenced, we must pay attention. We can't just put our head in the sand. So again, awareness is not fear, it's preparation. So Vedic wisdom is not asking us to drown out the world or even drown in it. It's asking us to turn. It also doesn't ask us to turn away from it. It asks us to turn toward it with balanced detachment. We call this yukta vairagya. That means when your eyes are open, your heart is steady, your nervous system is regulated, and your actions are guided by clarity and not by panic. So protecting your energy does not mean avoiding the truth. It means strengthening yourself so you can face the truth without collapsing. And I wanted to add something here from a place of respect and absolute clarity. If anything I share today feels uncomfortable or triggering, take a moment to pause and breathe. Because in Vedic tradition, viveka, that beautiful discernment, helps us recognize that discomfort may indicate that truth is challenging our attachments, especially those attachments to what kind of outcomes we'd like to see, and not necessarily that something is wrong. So a lot of channels have been telling audiences what they want to hear. And I find this challenging as another creator, because a lot of the time they're just trying to make people feel better. And while this can be very comforting, consider if their motivation is coming from genuine concern or simply gaining subscribers and popularity. So the Gita, the Bhagavad Gita, which I highly recommend you read, it's an amazing text, is very clear about this. Dharma is not rooted in approval, it's rooted in satya, that's truth, and nishkama karma, action offered without attachment to outcome. So this brings us back to that tiger allegory. It shows that our perception shapes our reality, and some are going to dismiss the tiger. Others are going to overstate the danger. Some are just going to simply ignore it, and some are going to exploit it for self-preservation or enjoy seeing other people eaten by the tiger. We're seeing that in the collective too. So this channel that I've created, it's not about popularity. It's not about reassurance. I like to share my honest perspective for those who are meant to hear it in the times that we're in. And I called this over a year and a half ago. I was not popular for it. I will continue to stand by and tell you the truth with love and compassion so that you can act in the best way to protect yourselves and your families. And if you hear other views that have been telling you opposite, think to yourself, am I letting others shape my opinions? Because how you interpret the situation is, are you discerning things or are you accepting beliefs from others? It's important that you step into this with your own energy and your own discernment, and you make what the best decision for you and not allow a lot of the outside chaos and noise to positively or even negatively affect you, because it needs to be your decision. Okay, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't, but please, and I say this with absolute love for all of you, always choose discernment over denial, because turning away may feel peaceful, but peace without awareness is very dangerous. So stay awake, stay grounded, and stay compassionate. Om Shanti, Om Love, Om Peace. I hope that was helpful. What we saw this week was not easy. The wars revealed a lot of what was going on behind the scenes and what is to come. And 2026 is going to be more of that. And I think it's important that we prepare each other for these coming changes. Okay. So I just love to see what a few of you are saying. Welcome, welcome. And Rhoda, you are first. Thank you so much for your tip. The lovely Venus is here. It's so great to see you, Venus. The hubby is here. Hi, honey. Lovely to see you, Rhoda. Yes, you are first. So if you have something that you want me to look into astrologically or just look at your chart in general, I can do that. I have it open. So thank you for your tip. Chu, it is lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. The lovely, joyful Jen is here. Thank you for the butterflies. That is so sweet of you. Teresa is here. Lovely to see you, Teresa, all the way from Facebook. I love your kitty cat. And let's see. And then can we yoga together? I do yoga every morning with my husband. He's actually he was director of the Divine Life Science, the Sivananda centers and the Divine Life Society ashrams and things like that. So he taught me yoga. It's wonderful. So, and yes, the Vedas do have a caste system that needs to be yeah, I agree with that. The caste system got a little out of control, just like every other compartment too. So that's important to discern. Use that viveka. Make sure that you're looking at the things that would be supported by divine energy. BD, it is lovely to see you. Welcome, welcome. If a tiger is running towards you, I'm pretty sure it's too late. Well, it depends on how far away it is, but and if there's like a door or something you can take. But yeah, I try to stay out of where the tigers are. So yeah. And then let's see. Anger is a gift. It's what motivates seeking of justice. Well, I see if it makes you take action to support, and there's something called righteous anger, and righteous anger is not something that is built around himsa, which is violence. If it comes from hatred, if it comes from a place of ego, then yeah, it could be considered himsa. But if you're doing it for the protection of others and for the betterment of community and family and all of those things, then yeah, you are absolutely right. I agree. Rachel, it was lovely to see you. A secondary emotion, okay. And then let's see. And then we have the lovely just Jody. Lovely to see you. Welcome from UK. That's great. Oh, that's wonderful. And then my time is not right, what I thought. So I changed my moon sign as well as my rising sign. I went ahead and put the new time in the calculator as soon as you sent me that email. So thank you for doing that. The lovely Jane is here. So good to see you, Jane. Thank you so much for joining us. And just I don't want to. Oh, what can you expect in the next month? You got it, Rhoda. All right. And go ahead and ask your questions, guys. Tips get priority. All of the links are in the description or the chat. And then Mary is here from St. Louis, Missouri. Welcome, Mary. It's lovely to see you here. And yeah, feel free to type in your question, guys. And I am so excited to read for you tonight. We have had a lot happen in the collective, and my heart is with everyone that's kind of struggling with what's coming out. So it's a lot. It's a lot to deal with. But know that when we're coming from a place of calm discernment, we're going to be able to navigate these systems in these times a little easier. Okay. All right. So James, you are next. All right, James. So you have Rhoda, and then we have the lovely James. So, and then, someone else. We have the lovely Rachel. Okay, sounds good. Okay, so first, Miss Rhoda, let me get to your question. So go ahead and ask your questions, guys, and I'll go ahead and get them in. And then universally Jyotishi, I love your name. Spiritual bypass is just spiritual long-term debt, and awareness is the gift from now. I couldn't have said it better. That is beautifully said. I love that. Thank you. And I like your icon too. I love other Jyotish practitioners and just talking about what's going on in the sky. I'm so glad that you're here. All right, Teresa, I'll go ahead and get your question in. Joyful Jen, you are in. James, you are in. Okay. So the lovely Rhoda, you want an astrology reading, and you want to know what to expect in the next month. Okay. Well, I went ahead and pulled your chart. So let me open it up here. And I did fix the time. So you're good to go. That does change things a little bit. But the planets are still in the right place, but it changes the houses around. Okay. So now you are in Mars Mahadasha, Jupiter Antardasha. So this is and it's in your 12th, your Mars is in your 12th house, forming an Anagarak with Rahu. So this is a highly karmic, inward, kind of destabilizing but awakening period for you. So Mars is he's weakened in Pisces. He doesn't really like water signs. And this is further complicated by Rahu. But now that Saturn and Neptune are transiting over your Mars, that can intensify some exhaustion, a little bit of confusion, and some spiritual pressure. Let's see. But there's a lot of guidance and protection coming your way because you have Jupiter Antardasha coming on. So good advisors, good people in and around you to help you. And your Jupiter's not debilitated. He's in your 11th house, which is a great house for Jupiter to be in. But let's talk about this Mars Rahu conjunction in Pisces, 12th house. Now, this redirects energy away from making direct action right now and into kind of a subconscious material isolated state. It can bring a lot of interesting dreams at night. It's linked to hospitals, foreign lands, spiritual places. There could be a loss of direction if you're not spiritually anchored. So it's really important that you have a spiritual practice going on at this time. And when Mars is with Rahu, it can make us erratic or impulsive or overstimulated, anger, anxiety, prone to burnout is what I see a lot. But there's also, it can make you susceptible to illusion. Every time I see Anagarak in someone's 12th house, especially in kind of a dreamy Pisces state, it can lead to kind of escapism or misplaced battles. And so beware of like people that really don't have your best interest at hand, anyone that's kind of underhanded or something like that. And you are getting good advice right now because Jupiter is in your 3rd house of communications in Gemini. So that's good. But it's important that you don't fight invisible enemies, and that when you do have actual enemies, that you pay attention to what's going on there. It's important that you don't expend a ton of your energy without seeing that there's going to be some clear results, because it can waste a lot of energy. And you don't like to be a part of worldly conflict. You actually prefer spiritual warfare. So you might be going through a little bit of that because Saturn is transiting over your Mars right now. And then he'll be transiting over your Rahu mid-year. So Saturn and Mars, they kind of create a pressure cooker. It can bring some blocked momentum, some frustration, some delays. It can bring a little bit of physical fatigue, inflammation, chronic strain. So the little chronic strain, things like that. And it can make anger be turned inward, depression or resignation if left unmanaged. So it's really important that you focus on your energy right now, especially your spiritual energy, discipline, health, setting very clear and healthy boundaries with other people, because Saturn is here to teach your Mars to stop wasting force and act only when it matters. So you might feel blocked in certain areas. So if you resist it, it can lead to a little bitterness, but if it's accepted, it brings out a ton of maturity, which I know you have in spades, some restraint, some endurance, things like that. Now, I also look at the outer planets, and Neptune is also transiting over your Mars. This is subtle, but it's very important because Neptune tends to dissolve Mars. It can create confusion around your goals and motivations, disillusionment with your former ambitions. It can bring out some heightened sensitivity and psychic openness. So you might be feeling a little more open than you normally are. But it can also make you vulnerable to deception, either self-deception or for others. So just make sure that you're really practicing that beautiful viveka that I brought up at the beginning, discernment. Another thing that I've seen with clients that have this is I don't know what I'm fighting for anymore, because when Neptune goes over, it can create kind of a fogging feeling. There's a loss of ego-driven desire, and it can lead to a little bit of identity fatigue. So, but spiritually, Neptune can soften Mars to be more compassionate, which I know you also have in spades. So you are in Mars Mahadasha, Jupiter Antardasha. What does that mean? That means Mars is driving the car and Jupiter's giving directions in the passenger seat, okay? But Mars is the main driver of the car. So this is a saving grace for you. This is really good energy because life can feel a little urgent, a little pressurized, a little confrontational, but your karmas are being worked out really quickly, and you have the advice and communications coming from Brihaspati. That's the guru energy. So a lot of old anger or survival patterns may surface, but there's going to be a lot of support for you. Because Jupiter, he brings protection from total collapse. He can bring a lot of learning, teaching, speaking, and writing opportunities your way. There can be guidance through information and communication, help from siblings, peers, and community. That's a really good thing that he can do. And if, how do I say this? Any type of dogmatic, like personality or something like that can hurt you a little more than the average person, but being open will heal. So Jupiter is asking you to learn your way through this and speak your truth really gently. And the things that you're likely to experience over the last month, because you just hit this month, okay, Rhoda, is extreme tiredness followed by bursts of insight, a desire to withdraw socially from certain things, people, or events, spiritual awakening, though through a little discomfort, but it will give you some hits, okay? Dreams, symbols, intuitive downloads. Those are those psychic hits I was talking about. And then a need for solitude is going to be important, but make sure you're not isolating yourself too much. So the main risks that you're going to want to look at for the next month are burnout, escapism. That can be, fantasy avoidance, things like that. Any kind of passive anger or confusing surrender with helplessness. So some remedies that you can do for Mars is there's something called Hanuman Chalisa on Tuesdays. If you email me, I can send you that. There's physical movement. It could be walking, swimming, yoga, not aggressive workouts, just something to kind of get you outside and connects your mind, your body, your spirit. And then avoiding unnecessary conflicts because you don't have time for that. Some Rahu remedies that you can do because he's with your Mars are anything that grounds you. It's really important to ground yourself when Rahu's activated in the Anagarat position. So reducing any kind of stimulation, that's media, staying out late, things you can do are feed stray animals or adopt stray animals or donate anonymously. Those are really good. And a wonderful mantra that you can do is Om Dom Durgaye Namaha. And that is to the beautiful goddess Durga, and she can help with Rahu's energy. And for Saturn remedies, because he's going over your Mars, you can do service to the elderly, disabled, anyone who's marginalized. This is Saturday discipline. You can do simple food. My husband and I don't do grains. We treat it like an Ekadashi day, which is like a diet with very simple diet. Silence, Mauna, and just having a very structured day. And then just accept slow progress because Saturn moves very slowly, especially when he's going over Mars. You can feel a little blocked. And then for Jupiter, you can study scriptures and philosophies because he's supporting that right now in your third house. You can teach, mentor, write. You can wear yellow on Thursdays, and you can also chant this beautiful mantra on Thursdays as well. Very simple. Om Guruve Namaha, or Om Brihaspataye Namaha. And those are just very simple nama mantras that you can do to invoke that wonderful Brihaspati Jupiter energy, which is giving you all this great advice. But you are being asked to don't fight any imaginary battles, conserve your energy, turn action into very conscious service right now. Let ambition dissolve into purpose. When handled consciously, this transit can give you a lot of spiritual authority. It can give you a ton of emotional maturity, and it can make a quieter but more meaningful success come your way. So if handled unconsciously, it can create exhaustion, confusion, and resentment. And the choice lies in how you choose to use your energy. So that's the main thing I just saw from your chart. It was kind of a lot. I just kind of went on a riff there, but I hope that was helpful. Let's see here. And then I will do that. I will definitely have to email you for this information. Of course, yeah, I'm always here, especially when it comes to mantras. My husband and I get up at 4 every morning and we do all of our mantras and japa and kirtan, and it's a lot of fun. But I see it as kind of a protective shield, and you feel that big time right now. Okay. And you've been struggling. Yeah, that Shani's transits, especially over Mars, can be pretty difficulty. And yeah, and the dreams, that really does fit in. Yeah, so that is some stuff there. And then let's see. And then BD, I will go ahead and get your question in. Okay, Darren, I will go ahead and get your question in. And Anthony, nope, I don't snore when I sleep. Do I snore when I sleep, honey? He says no. Okay. All right. Thank you for the great live, Jane, and thank you for sending me the Vishnu emoji. You're the cutest. Oh, adore you. Okay, it is a lot of information, and I'm glad that you're here for it. That's great. Okay, so our next lovely tipper is, let's see, James. Okay, James is asking, will 2026 have my goals reached, especially for my skin removal and dental? Oh my goodness, that's some big procedures coming your way. Well, best of luck and happy health to you in those areas. Okay. Now, if I had your chart in front of me, I'd be able to look at your Varshapal and see what your health looks like this year and what houses are getting affected and things like that. But I'm just going to do some tarot and kind of tap into what my guides are telling me, okay? Skin removal and dental, okay. Now, Shani rules the teeth, so you'll want to look and see what house that he is in, because that's important. Okay. Okay, well, the good news is that you have some good energy in and around you. I like seeing that. There are people that are going to be able to kind of help you through this, which I love seeing. The main thing that I'm getting, though, is as you go through this, it's important that you, because I got Duryodhana. Okay, Duryodhana he's kind of the villain in the Mahabharata. And when I see this in the context of health and wellness question, it's emotional stress can manifest physically when unacknowledged. So it's important that you see yourself very realistically and have realistic expectations about the outcome of these procedures. They could go they might not be 100% what you were expecting, and there could be longer recovery times. You might have to get some additional dental or work done. You might have to go back in and fix a few things as far as the procedures. Okay, so try not to let your ego get in the way of or pride or anything like that as you go into this. So just come with humility and bring your expectations down a little bit, and that'll help you with some of the shadow work in and around some of these procedures, okay? Then what's really interesting is I got Capricorn 7th house. So can you tell me, are you married or in a business partnerships? This would be someone very close to you, okay? So because the 7th house, this is someone very close to you, and I got Capricorn. And Capricorn is we're about to actually hit some wars in Capricorn toward the second half of this month, so we have to be aware of that. But they're directing my attention toward your overall relationships, closest relationships. And Capricorns, they tend to treat things like a business. So it's using the most business-like way to handle your relationships and to do so with what I call vairagya, which is taking your emotional and reactive state out of it on both sides and trying to see it from a very practical and ordered perspective so that you can kind of work through some of these energies. Now, what this also tells me is that there might be someone very close to you that can help with your recovery. Okay, you don't have a relationship. So I'm wondering why they're bringing up 7th house. There could be one coming your way. We'll see. Now, the reason I say that this year is, again, I don't have your chart in front of me, but I got the beautiful 3 of Cups. I love this card because it tells me that in seeking good company, we call it satsang in Sanskrit, you will be able to, your recovery will be easier, so to speak. Okay, so when I see this, especially the this is an emotional energy. It's about friendship. It's about companionship. It is about, the Three of Cups it's about harmony, finding emotional harmony with others. So it's important that you seek this kind of it's, how do I say this? Friendship is what they're telling me. And when you make this lifestyle change, it can add to your healing. Okay, it can help you kind of get out a little bit more. Shared joy is what I'm hearing. It's communal joy. And this is really going to help you heal this year, especially if you start to spend more time in satsang, which is good company with other people. And find people with like interests, people that you really trust and care about, because that is really going to help overall in your recovery. And I pulled that seventh house, so you might meet somebody in one of these groups that turns into something more. So that's just something to consider. And this would be someone that you have very similar views on. Capricorns are very conservative, they're very practical. So that could kind of point toward the type of person that you may be drawn to. And yeah, so that's kind of what I see going on for you. It's you lower your expectations a little bit, come in with a little humility, realize that the recovery might take a little longer, but one of the best things that you can do is spend time in company, and it might lead to something. They just kind of threw that in there. So, and you're a Libra. Okay, lovely. I love that. Well, Libras are very good at, compromise and seeing things from both sides of the fence, and being able to how do I say this? Kind of put their ego aside, because I did pull Dharadna, so it's important to watch for that, because Dharadna is a bit of a narcissist. Make sure that you're not projecting that energy, or that energy isn't in and around you. And let's say when I see it in a health question, it's usually that someone has like very they have a lot of expectations about something going in, and they end up being disappointed and angry and hurt. Okay, so it's important that you just kind of like tone it down and just go with the flow, and you'll be okay. So I hope that was helpful. Garnet's here. Hey, Garnet. Just Jody, Lilith, in my Black Moon 8th house. Can you tell me anything I should know? Okay. I will go ahead and get your question in. Okay. So the next lovely tipper, let me check here. All right. Is Rachel, and then we have lovely Venus. Okay. Let's see. Miss Rachel. Rachel, are you here, sweetie? Go ahead and ask your question, because I am not seeing it. Hey, Lovey Cook, good to see you. Welcome. Cool car. And let's see. I'm looking for your question, Rachel. I might have missed it. I apologize if I did. Oh, you're here. Okay, yeah, go ahead and ask. And I'll just wait a little bit. Okay. Okay. Care of that. I'm doing backstage stuff too, so thank you for your patience, guys. Okay, Rachel, a friend of mine offered me a dog. Oh my gosh. Oh, by the way, your mom's dog is really cute, Rachel. I'll go ahead and pull some cards for this. But yeah, that was just a darling picture of you two together. It was nice to see your energy brighten up in and around her. Well, I mean, first off, what does your gut tell you? You're apprehensive because of a tour, and it's generated doubt of decisions, but he's very cute. Oh, I love that. Okay, well, let me look. Okay. Daisy is a sweetie. Yeah, I really like that photo of you guys together. That was so cute. Okay. Thank you all for your patience as I draw. Other people have offered me hugs. It's because you are an amazing, you haven't met him. Okay. No, I haven't met him yet. Okay. And then, yeah, it's because you're an amazing dog owner and everyone saw how well you took care of Ollie and they went, oh my gosh, this is, okay. Okay, I'm going to do a sip sip. Got my tarot stash mug. He's one of my favorite people to watch, you guys. He's on once a month here. We just adore him. Call him Cowbell. He just had his 5th anniversary. It was so much fun. Oh, adore him. I'm kind of swamped with this intensive course right now as well. Oh, I can see that. It's right here in the cards. Okay. So the first card I got was Capricorn. They want you to think about this very practically. And it sounds like you are. You're going on tour. You have a lot of responsibilities. You haven't met him yet. I wouldn't make the decision right now because this card is all about taking a step back and looking at it from a very practical, logical, grounded, earthy perspective. And it sounds like you're doing that because you're considering your tour and everything else that could kind of get in the way of your bonding. You want to be able to have some time off where you can really bond with this dog because new environment, new person, new schedule, new routine. You got to think of a dog is not just, a companion that you're going to have for a lifetime, but also as a business, as a huge responsibility. So ask yourself, can I take on this responsibility right now? So I asked that question, and what I got was the Chariot, but it came up reversed. So there could be some scattered focus, some burnout, unable to kind of keep track of things right now because you have too much on your plate, some disorganization, things like that. So this might not be the most practical time to invite a dog into your life because you're about to get real busy, girl, or you're already too busy already. So then I asked, what would the overall outcome be? And I got the 5 of Cups. Okay, so this is disappointment, a little bit of insecurity, setbacks, loss, regret. You're going to regret it if you do it right now because it's not the best timing. Okay, sweetie. And let's see. Yeah, totally. I'm scared to be in the army right now. Oh, I'm sorry, sweetie. Well, I am saying that this is probably not the best time to get a puppy because you are very, very busy and there's a lot of responsibilities on your plate and things that you are going to have to step into in the next couple of months. Okay. So I did ask for some just energy around dogs in general because you said a lot of people are offering you puppies and things like that. I got the innocence card. So this is about just being soft, still, giving the universe an opportunity to assist you in creating your desires and remaining patient. Be willing to release any cynicism in and around not having a special little guy or gal in your life right now, because this is a time where you need to gather more experience before, how do I say this? They say you might have lost a little touch with your innocence and your joy because you're still grieving. Okay, so don't forget that time will heal all wounds and transformation for you is very possible. Okay, because they're asking you to approach your grief with renewed peace. And you're making a lot of changes. They're showing me your job situation, different people in and around you, the direction of your life. They're saying, see this as a time to explore your world and these changes with the innocence of a child. And you will attract the right dog to you once you kind of go through these processes and allow these changes to happen. So every day, call on your guides to renew your mind and refresh your thinking. Ollie is one of them. Okay, so you can call on him. And with his assistance, you can contemplate each situation you encounter, including puppies. And sometimes, like I told you, Rosie's bogey. So it's not even a question. I mean, I got so many signs. Jonathan and I did. She sits like him. She eats like him. She has the same mannerisms as he does. Her favorite toy was his favorite toy. She carries it in her mouth wherever she goes. She sleeps the same way. She's the same dog. I mean, it's like it just in a female body. It's crazy. So they do come back. I'm experiencing it right now. So right now, as you're going through the grief and you're waiting for him to return, pray for freedom from fear, from worry, and from any kind of unhealthy guilt or obsession that you feel around his passing that might control your thoughts and harm your soul, because those are lies. You were the best dog mom ever, and you are just an incredible gift to the fur babies in this world. And I'm just, it's an honor to know you because you care so much. You care like Jonathan and I do. So basically, not right now. You're going to be real busy, but just breathe, go through it. It'll come. Okay. That's the main thing that I'm getting. I'm working to let go of the rumination. It's just me trying to control my grief. I totally get it. That's one of the stages of grief. You know, I told you I lost 3 of my babies, and it never goes away because they're always there. You know, they're always a part of our heart. But in realizing that they just went backstage for a costume change and that their energy is limitless and no one ever dies, we just reincarnate in other forms. It gave me a lot of hope. You know, it gave me a lot of perspective on handling the sadness that I was carrying around. And I know exactly how you feel. Okay, sweetie. So you've got this. It'll come. And yeah, I hope that was helpful. Okay, Andrea, welcome, sweetie. I got your question in. Arcana's here. I haven't seen you in a while. It's so good to see you. Welcome, Arcana. I'm still taking donations right now. If you put your donation in, you're guaranteed to get a reading from me. Okay. Uh, and then I'm going in order. So we'll see. Okay, Joyful Jen is back. Thanks for checking in. Shambhala Healing is here. Lovely to see you. Great name. And we are doing great. Thank you so much for asking, Arcana. I love it. And then let's see. I'm just making sure I'm getting everyone's question in. So I got to do the backstage stuff too. Ollie was flickering the lights this weekend. I swear I could hear shuffling. I'm like, this is a mouse. Weird. Oh, interesting. Yeah, spirit has ways of making themselves known. Okay, like 6 Srinivas, Rao energy for me, NC. Shall I wait for him? Okay, Srinivas. Got it. Okay, so your question is in. And then Venus, what does my chart say about my weight struggles? Gained 40 pounds over 4 years. Okay, you got it. Oh, thank you. Welcome, a Forever Life YT. The impossible is possible. That's great. Welcome. Thank you. Okay, Miss Venus, you are next. Let me open up your chart. Just give me a second to do that. Miss Venus. I'm your Venus. I'm your fire, your desire. Right after I learned all of Venus's mantras years ago, I walked into a Trader Joe's and they were playing the Venus song, I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire. And people thought I was crazy because I couldn't stop laughing. It's like spirit going, good job, you're learning Shukradev's mantras. He's my ascendant lord, so I'm a big Shukradev fan, and he's active in my chart right now. So he's 4th house Vargotama for me. That's why I'm able to live in these beautiful apartments, and he just blesses my 4th house like crazy. Okay, Miss Venus, let us see. Miss Venus, primary native data. Right, I'm just trying to get into your open new primary. There you are. Okay. These take a little longer because my charts take time to open. Okay, Miss Venus, what are you in right now? I think you're headed into Rahu soon, aren't you? Ooh, girl, yes, you are. June 26th. You're going to be hitting up Rahu Mahadasha. Now, that's a time to get a reading with me. We could have a lot of fun with that one because your Rahu it's cool. Okay, so you are in Mars, Moon, and your Mars is with Saturn in Ninth house. Okay. That aspect's the third. That's sun. So Mars, Moon, Rahu. And you said the last 4 years you were having the weight gain. So that's got to be related to Mars somehow. Let me look here. I'm just looking over the Venus. You got Venus on the ascendant in Capricorn. Saturn's doing okay. Saturn gives you a lot of discipline, so he can definitely help you with some of this stuff. Okay, let me pull up your Varshapal and your health chart. Just give me a second to do that. Okay. Okay. And then I'm going to pull up my okay, and then that was the last 4 years. So let me look at your Vimshatari. Where is that? There we go. And your sun is aspecting your Saturn. That's interesting. Okay, so let's look at that. See how many signs he moves. Okay. Well, the main thing that you're going through is you might be kind of eating your emotions a little bit because your moon is a little, he is sensitive, but it's in Mula. That's pretty good. Let's see. Mula's the root, so you're learning to deal with kind of rehashing your emotions, getting to the root of them, and pulling out what no longer serves you. So you are in Mars Moon. Let's look at a tertiary one here. Sorry, I like to be really thorough, you guys. Okay, Mars Moon Rahu. Okay, so that is Mars Moon Rahu tertiary. You have to take the utmost care in financial matters right now. It may appear that time is changing toward a better financial gain, but remember to watch your wealth, especially earned wealth right now. That's the main thing that they're saying is you need to keep an eye on the money. Before that, there was some issues around ancestral property, things like that. And then let me look at your Mars in general. Now, Mars in Virgo makes you kind of a verbal warrior. Like Winston Churchill has this in his chart. And you have Saturn there too, which is really good. So when I see that, it tells me that Shani Dev, who is the karmic teacher, he is mellowing out your Mars a little bit and he's making you very disciplined. Mars is very disciplined too, but weight gain during Mars moon period is really not unusual, especially when Saturn is strongly involved, because the moon, he involves a lot of fluids, digestion, emotional nourishment is being activated. It can bring some hormonal, emotional, and karmic things your way. So during your moon dasha, there can be some like emotional eating, some fluid retention. Your lymphatic system can be affected. Digestional rhythms can be a little off. And it's important that you spend a lot of time in emotional regulation because when the moon is active, the body can hold water more easily and the appetite is tied to the emotional state. So that's the main thing that I'm seeing. And so it's important that you're really like keeping those emotions in check. And, Mula can be a more difficult nakshatra because what it's asking you to do is, it means root. So imagine that it's fall and you want to protect the perennials and the flowers, the lilies, things like that from the frost. So what do? You cut everything down to the root level. And then in the spring, they all come back. That's what Mula is like. Your emotional state is such that you're constantly pruning yourself. So that can take a lot out on you emotionally. And then when you have Mars with Saturn in that ninth house aspecting your sun, it can create some things with ego, for example. Like Sun in Pisces tells me that, especially with the position that he's in. That's good relationship with father, a father that, understands you and that you can kind of get along with, which I like seeing with the position that I'm seeing. But Saturn can help you as far as discipline goes. You're definitely emotional. Okay. And then, yeah, and you believe it's from grief. Okay. Well, it is opposite sun. So that would be the father. I don't know if, I forgot, is your father with you or did he pass? Because the position there indicates something there. And then another thing that I'm noticing is that Saturn is going over your sun. What does that do? It can make you feel like your ego is being massively hit right now. Okay, when I see that, when he goes over the ascendant or the sun, it can indicate job changes as well. But for you, it's third house. So that tells me that your self efforts might be blocked, what you're trying to get done. And you might feel like you're taking a few blows to the ego lately. The sun also represents the father. So you could be thinking a lot about him and, that relationship. But when I see that, like the reason why Saturn has its rings is those are basically moons and other planetary bodies that are being crushed into dust, because that's what Saturn does, is he crushes our egos, our emotional states, and he makes us move toward what's called vairagya. Vairagya is uh, doing your karma, doing good work without attachment and without reaction. So you are probably going through a stage right now, especially with the Mars moon period, of emotional detachment without allowing your heart to shut down, if that makes sense. And it's really important that you don't experience a lot of burnout, because with Saturn in the third house, a lot of your efforts can be blocked. And I noticed that a lot of people just keep hitting that wall. Got to get it done, got to get it done, got to get it done, got to get it done. And they're not going anywhere because Saturn's blocking the ego. He's in the third house of self efforts. He can also, if you have any siblings, he can be creating some issues here, neighbors, things like that. Your communications could be like, you can be misinterpreted by other people, things like that. But the saving grace here is that you do have Saturn, with Mars in that ninth house. So taking good advice from people that are very disciplined in this area, following a new weight or exercise routine can be helpful. I celebrate something called Ekadashi twice a month. There's one tomorrow. That's where I don't eat any grains. And then on some Ekadashis, we don't eat anything. So intermittent fasting can be very helpful as well. One way you can honor Shani Dev, which is Saturn, is you can do a type of a fast on, if it's safe for you, on Saturdays as well. And that also helps expel a lot of bad karma. So that's what I see there. It's important that you you're very discerning and not too impulsive when you're making any dietary changes and things like that, or taking advice from other people. Really check your sources. But overall, I mean, it's looking pretty good. You do have, where's Jupiter? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So Jupiter is in your sixth house of daily routines, and food and diet is part of that. So this is a really good time to work through that. He's also going over what's called your Rahu. Who's Rahu? Rahu is he causes eclipses, and he can cause us to do bad things. And so it could be overeating, it could be, over speaking, overdoing anything, because Rahu's very ambitious. So it's really important that as Jupiter goes over your Rahu, I find this transit very beneficial because he can school Rahu. He is the only planet that can control Rahu. And when they're together in a chart, it's called the Guru Chandala. He's just passing over your Rahu right now. So this is a really good time to seek out more discipline and some study in this area. But I'm seeing that it's very much linked to your emotional state based on, and I'm glad that that makes sense. Okay. And your dad passed. Okay. That's what I thought. All right. I didn't want to say it unless, it was appropriate. Okay. Okay, Miss Shem, I went ahead and put you in. Lovely to see you, dear. Are you guys hearing a really fast vibration? I'm not hearing it on my side. I apologize if that's what you guys are hearing. Okay. Yikes. Oh, it's okay now. Oh, that's interesting. Might have been something outside that I didn't pick up on, because we are in a city of 22 million people, so a lot of traffic noise. Okay. Oh, yay. I'm so glad. All right. So let's see. Let's go. I'm going to go check for, okay, Venus is done. And then we are going to go in order. I hope you had a wonderful holiday too. It just came back. I'm not hearing anything, you guys. I'm so sorry. That is weird. I don't even know how to fix that if I can't hear it. So it might be something about the connection. I'm not sure. That's so weird. Oh my gosh. Well, I apologize for the noise, y'all. I can ask StreamYard. Okay. Yeah, because my laptop isn't making any noise. That's odd. Okay, so we're going to go in order. We're going to do lightning round. If anyone tips, I am going to spend a little bit longer on your question. Okay. Miss Teresa, are you in the audience? What can I expect in the next month? Are you here, my dear? Oh, it's fine for you. Thanks for letting me know. Okay. Yeah, it could just be the connection. Teresa, okay, you're a Taurus. Oh, yay, that's my ascendant. I love that. Oh, it was so great when Jupiter went over our ascendant last year. He gave me so many blessings. I love it when he does that. Okay, Salama Witena, you are here. Okay, you're here. Okay, Miss Teresa, what can I expect in the next month? You got it. Okay, they really want you to focus on your work, how you serve, your daily routine, what you're eating, sixth house stuff, doing things a little at a time, people that work for you and with you. They want you focused on that. This is the house of service, what's good for you. It is a Dushtana house, so it indicates some kind of karma that you're working out from a past birth. Let's see what's going on for you. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going to do a flyby here. Okay, so the sixth house is also the house of hidden enemies in Vedic astrology. The reason I bring up that, I got the Three of Cups reversed. There could be some people in and around you who it's not good satsang. These are not people that have the same vibration as you. They're people that you should not be pursuing friendships with or hanging out a lot with, okay? It's important to keep good satsang, good company. You're going to get tested in this area. I got the King of Wands, but it came up reversed. Okay, this could be a more negative male in your life that might not be using their actions appropriately. They could be a little forceful, a little fiery, a little aggressive. If you get in and around this person, especially in the workplace, don't start arguments. Just kind of, water off a duck's back, okay? Because you don't need this, all right? And then I got the Nine of Wands. It's important that you guard your energy and that you are very aware and discerning of who is in and around you energetically so that you can protect yourself. Okay. Now, wands are all about taking action. So when I see this tells me that you are needing to, you're needing to kind of discipline yourself and create some restrictions and boundaries with others, especially if they're not treating you right and they are pressing against those boundaries and not honoring your energy. So there can be some resilience, but it's going to happen after struggle in this area. And this could come in the form of hidden enemies. So that's the main energy I got in and around you. Okay, sweetie? I hope that was helpful. It's kind of a lot to deal with this month, but there's a lot of wars happening in Capricorn. So some of us can, oh, and he's pushy. Yeah. When I get him reversed, it can be a little pushy, a little dogmatic, a little my way or the highway kind of personalities. And you set those beautiful boundaries and you got this. Okay, honey? Okay. All right. So our next wonderful question is Joyful Jen. Are you here? Next few months. Ooh, you're going long term. Are you here, Miss Joyful Jen? You're welcome, Teresa. Thanks for letting me tap in, sweetie. And thanks for stopping by. It's so good to see you. Miss Joyful Jen. Wish I had cowbell with me. Gerald brings the cowbell. Okay, you have to be in the audience. I'll keep your question in, but I'm going to move on. BD0224. Are you here, my dear? Are you in the audience? Let me know. Let me know. Are you here, BD0224? Okay, I'm not seeing you. I'm going to move on. Darren Biddick, my mom, first time listening to you. Lovely voice. Thank you. Happy New Year. I hope to get a message would be a blessing. Okay, are you here, Darren? I'm happy to give you a message. Oh, thanks for checking in, Jody. Okay, Darren, are you here? 1, 2, 3. Okay. And Miss Jody, you must be psychic because you're next year. Okay. Lilith in my Black Moon 8th house. Can you tell me anything I should know, please? Ooh, that is some interesting energy. I love that for you. Okay, BD, I'll get to you next. I did call you, but I'm doing Jody now. Okay, so Miss Jody, that is actually a really intense energy. What that tells me is that, because the 8th house is kind of like a shadow house, but it's also very psychic. So there's a lot of deep sensitivity when I see this in a chart. It shows me that you can have some hidden motives in your life. You can sense manipulation quickly. You can react very strongly to imbalances, especially regarding emotional and financial power. There can be early life experiences involving like a betrayal of trust. There can be a lot of emotional or energetic enmeshment. It can turn into codependency if unchecked. There are situations where consent and boundaries are a little unclear. So, girl, you had to set some boundaries young when I see this. Intimacy, it can be a trigger rather than a teacher. So it's important to balance these things out because relationships are not casual for you, my dear. They're pretty intense because you crave a very deep soul level intimacy. And you can fear losing yourself once that closeness happens because you give a lot to your relationships when I see this. So you kind of oscillate between merging and withdrawing. You know, it's just like nothing at all or everything at once. So it's important to balance those areas when I see this. Sexuality and emotional bonding and trust may feel really intense, but they can be both healing and destabilizing because the 8th house does rule intimacy. But it does give you a lot of strong psychic and psychological insight because the 8th house is all about hidden things. And so you can have a natural therapeutic ability, interest in psychology, trauma work, shadow integration. If you get into tarot, astrology, things like that, helping people through shadow work could be a really great thing for you. Also, Tantra rules this house. You understand grief at an intuitive level and have no problem with death, unlike some souls that struggle with it. And you can help people through those transformative times, especially when they're dealing with a lot of loss. But this tells me that you can be a healer, you can be a counselor, a spiritual guide, you can be someone's companion through a crisis. You're good at holding space for others because you've walked through the underworld yourself and you had to do so young. Okay, so money and shared resources can be charged because this is the house of inheritances. So there can be just some discomfort about depending on others financially, power struggles with shared money, a strong need for more autonomy in your financial matters. But learning, like keeping your agreements clean and contractual is really essential for you in this birth and setting boundaries there. But the main thing that I see that you need to be aware of is you can attract really intense but unsafe relationships. You can reenact a lot of power struggles. There's some secrecy, some mistrust. It can cause you to put on that emotional armor, and you can feel used and drained by others. So this isn't a flaw. It's just an invitation to be more aware in this area. Okay, so when you're conscious, it's important that you have fierce emotional sovereignty. You have very like deep ethical forms of intimacy that don't get too intense and out of control. And you can be a guide through the darkness for other people and be a very transformative presence in their life. So this placement doesn't mean like, you're destined for abuse or sexual dysfunction or doom or anything like that. It just says that you're wired for a lot of depth, truth, and transformation in these areas, and that superficiality does not satisfy you. You are deep, my girl. You are like, whoa. The power comes from self-honesty and boundaries, and that's what's really going to help you with like a lot of the work that you're not only doing for yourself, but that you can do with others. Because when you're doing those conscious intimacy practices, you know, financial transparency, especially regarding inheritances and other people's money, shadow journaling, spiritual practices that ground and don't disassociate, you can be an amazing force in this world. So it asks that you, Black Moon Lilith 8th, asks that you reclaim your power with, you know, destiny and intimacy and trust and shared energy, and you transform any old wounds from past births into wisdom and emotional sovereignty. So that's the main thing. Now, that's the only thing I know about your chart, but it's amazing what you can do with just one planet, right? So that was fun. And I don't know what sign it is, but let's see. You said absolutely correct. Yes. All aspects seem very intense with me. I like to be directed so I can use it for goodness. Very accurate. Oh, good. You already have. It's taught you many lessons. And you write poetry. Of course you do. I love that. You're tapping into that beautiful realm. And you're so welcome. Thanks for joining us. It was fun. Okay. So BD, are you back? Are you here, my dear? Taurus, Aquarius, Moon, Sag rising. Oh, love that. I'm an Aquarius Moon too. We just got hit with Shawnee a while ago. That was interesting. Okay, BD's here. Yay. Okay, when will my intentions manifest? Okay, I don't have your chart, but I'll go ahead and pull some cards for you and get some energy in and around that. And thanks for checking in. I appreciate that. Your intentions, when will they manifest? Well, they have me focused on relationships. Are you in a relationship, BD? Because I got 7th house. Okay, Darren's here. Good to see you, Darren. Okay, there's going to be some balance in this area. Not really. Okay. Well, the 7th house is a mirror. So there's you, that's 1st house. And then the 7th house is how you project yourself toward other people. Okay. Ooh. All right. So I don't know if you have a business partner, someone you're working with, but they're bringing up balance, cooperation, and partnerships. So this tells me that they want you to work in this area. If you don't have a partner or a team member in your life, it may be something that you need to develop to kind of help you meet those goals and objectives, those intentions that you're trying to set or manifest. Okay. Now, the reason I said that was because I got the Temperance card. Now, if you see here, he's holding a moon and a sun. The moon represents our inner emotional state, and the sun represents our ego, our outer state, what we show other people. So whenever I pull the Temperance card, there needs to be a balance between your emotional ego and your outer ego, the personality you wish to project, the way you want to be seen and recognized in the world for. So what this tells me is there's going to need to be some balance, emotional, inner and outer balance when it comes to relationships and how you do contracts and things with others. Okay. There's going to need to be some moderation, some healing, some harmony. And when you're able to balance your inner and your outer self, it can bring a higher awareness and a conscious blending of opposites that can really help you manifest your goals. Now, I did get a little bit of a shadow energy in and around this reading. Okay, BD. I got the Queen of Pentacles. Now, she's a very material queen, but she came up upside down. So what does that tell me? This tells me that you are working through some issues in and around money. Okay, so this is a female energy, but it represents, you know, it can be a little overspending, irresponsible with money, not using the best judgment in this area. Okay. Sometimes this can be greed, things like that, because there's just too much emphasis being put on the material. So it's important that you stay level-headed when it comes to your goals and objectives. You don't overspend, you don't overextend yourself out of excitement, and that you try to build a better and more solid foundation around yourself and try to balance out any type of partnership or goal that you have with someone else that can get this out of whack. Okay. Pay attention to your finances. That's the main thing they're saying. And make sure that your judgment is good in this area. because the Queen is all about mastery. And so you're getting a lesson here, and they're asking your attention to be directed into that area. Okay. I hope that was helpful. Okay. All right. We have the lovely, let's see, Andrea. Are you here, Andrea? You're welcome, BB. Please check in, Andrea. Okay, thank you for checking in, Salam. I'm going in order. Thank you for checking in, Arcana. Oh, Andrea's here. Wonderful. Well, I passed my registered nursing exam and NCLEX January 20th on my first try. Woo, okay, let's look. Now, if your Vedic sign is Pisces, Saturn's going through there. Okay, so it's, I don't know what house that is for you, but that would be something to pay attention to. Okay, but I'll pull some cards to see what the guides have to say. And best of luck. I mean, my first job was working as a nursing assistant in the Alzheimer's and dementia unit. And then I moved into in-home health and care, and that helped me pay for college. And it was, especially the in-home health, I really enjoyed that. Oh my goodness, okay. Okie dokie. Let's see what's going on here. Now, have you been taking out time to study, get things done in that area? Okay, the reason I say that, my dear, is I'm not getting the most positive cards. So this tells me that some more preparation is needed. Okay, I got the 8th house. Okay, this tells me that this is the house of hidden things, but there might be something that you're missing, because this is a big transformative house. It's, it involves everything from chronic illness to other people's money, inheritances. It's the house of intimacy. And so there's a lot of transformation going on here that needs to happen. Okay. So there is a bit of an imbalance. Why do I say that? Because I did pull the Tower. Okay. So what this tells me is that there's an imbalance when it comes to being able to do this. You can see there, this represents like kind of a crisis, destruction of illusions, revelations, things like that. So there might be a little bit of a Tower moment coming your way that's going to force you to change your perspective. And it's an authority that cannot stand, that will be forcibly removed. So it tells me that any false powers that are in and around you regarding this are going to collapse. And that's not the worst thing. It just means that it's going to change. It's going to clear the way for something else. Okay. And you're studying too much. Okay. Well, the 8th house also represents studying. So that could be an imbalance there. There might be a lot of, emotional component that you're putting into this, that you need to kind of take a step back and not put too much of yourself into it, the anxiety piece there. And then I got the Queen of Swords, but she came up reversed. Now, this is a very mental queen, and you said that you're studying a little bit too much. Now, this could relate to the need to feel, how do I say this? This is a mental card. So when I get this, it tells me that there is an imbalance mentally going on, like you might be missing something. Like you said, there's too much going on. I haven't called you yet, Shem, but I'll get to you. So using force or intimidation to try to force your way to learn this stuff isn't working. So you might want to change your study habits a little bit. You want to be mentally strong for this. You want to make sure that you're taking a lot of time to, rest. You can be self-sufficient, and that, yeah, you're feeling overwhelmed. That would be this. Okay. So you're putting too much into this mentally, and it's causing a lot of anxiety. You want to go through this, but with clarity. So it's important that you take breaks. You might want to join a study group and make it fun. You want to make sure that you're maybe walking along the water or spending time in nature, really doing some grounding exercises, making sure that you're taking time out for exercise and not sitting all day. That way you can clear your mind and refresh it each time you go back to study, because it's about repetition. It's not about trying to cram it in all at once or being anxious about it. They're saying you need to change your study habits because mentally it's causing you a lot of anxiety. Okay. And you're worried about failure and you're overwhelmed. Yeah, that's what the cards say. So what I would do is, and I struggled with test anxiety when I was younger, so I'm right there with you. But it's important that you find ways, like I used to run, just go for a run, or you can go for a walk in nature, or you can do some yoga or do some breathing, or put some lovely mantras on, or music on in your home, or while you're studying, listening to classical music I thought was very calming for me as well. But you're not going to pass if you come in with this level of anxiety. That's what the cards are saying. And you're swimming in it, honey. You're putting way too much reactivity into this test, and you're dooming yourself to failure unless you calm yourself down. Okay? The fact that you care so much tells me that, yes, you will eventually, but you have to realize that this is a test for you. And sometimes the test isn't just whether or not you're going to pass the actual test, but the journey it takes to get there. Okay. So I hope that was, do I have to reschedule the date then? Well, it depends on if you're rested and you're calm. If you feel that you can be rested and calm and ready, then go ahead and take the test. But right now you're not. Now is not the time to do it, because I'll just tell you a story. The first time I took the SATs, I didn't finish the test because I threw up. I literally ran to the trash can in the front of the room and just lost my breakfast. So I had to take it again, and I did okay. I did okay the second time I took the ACT. I aced it, but it was the third time before I finally calmed down and did well. You have to be coming from a calm place to pass this test. So otherwise, you're wasting your time, your money, and your energy. So I would definitely reschedule if you're not coming from a calm place, and if you're just highly, highly anxious and tearing yourself up about it, because that you're going to stand in your own way, sweetie. Okay. Yes, rest and a good night's sleep is so important. I'm right there with you. Yeah. So the answer is yes, reschedule if you're coming from a place of heightened anxiety and stress and not enough sleep and overstudying. Reschedule. It's okay. It'll still be there. But you want to be coming from a place of calm, confidence. Not what I'm feeling here. Okay, sweetie? I hope that was helpful. And best of luck to you, dear. Okay. Thank you, Venus. Okay, Arcana. Like 6 Sranavashan route energy for me, NC, shall I wait for him? Okay, this sounds like a love question. And then we have Lovey Cook, Shem, and then Selena Watena. Okay. Arcana is here. You're so welcome, Andrea. And best of luck to you, dear. As someone who struggled with test anxiety, I am right there with you. Oh my goodness. Like I'm telling you, I've had to take tests over just because I'm like, ugh, I store it in my gut. Okay. Let's look into this Arcana. 8th house is just popping up all over the place today. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's see what's going on here. Ooh. Okie doke. And if you're new, I'd love it if you guys subscribed. I actually am losing a lot of subscribers for some reason. It's really weird. I lost like 20 or 30 in the last week. I think maybe they're cleaning stuff up behind the scene. Okay, so I got that there's an unhealthy obsession going on here, Arcana. Okay, sweetie. I got some, you need to step into your personal power, not obsess as much about the relationship. Okay. When I get eighth house, it tells me that I felt like an obsession of energy that just needs to be put down and just put it over there. Okay. Take a break. I got the overall energy of the relationship. And what this tells me is that I got the Emperor reversed. And this tells me that one person has taken on so much responsibility that they don't have time for a lot of relationship stuff. Okay. So there's a lot of control issues, some insecurity. This is also someone who's carrying around way too much responsibility right now, and they're not able to give to a relationship. So they can't provide for the relationship in order for it to be successful because they can't invest in it. They literally can't. Okay, so that is what I'm getting. I'm getting that when it comes to what you can do to kind of work through this energy is I got the lovely Four of Swords. You need to rest. You need to just put it down, relax. They're even saying going on a retreat would be very helpful for you, spending more time in meditation, relaxation, seclusion, connecting mind, body, soul. Mental rest is very important with this card. So you want to kind of go through a period of nesting. Um, this person is really, really, really busy, doesn't have time. You need rest. That's the main thing that I'm seeing. Okay. And then I went to my lovely Mahabharata Oracle and I got the Strength card. Okay, so what does this tell me? This is Bhima. Bhima is he's very powerful and very strong. He's one of my favorite guys in the Mahabharata because he's kind of funny. Um, his strength was legendary, but his true mastery lay it was in self-control. So he knew when to act and when to restrain himself. He knew when to rest and when to go into battle. So he wasn't impulsive, even though he was a big guy that can just crush giants. But in love and relationships, they're saying that boundaries are really going to strengthen your bonds, and that when you come from a place of emotional strength after a lot of rest, it's going to stabilize connections. But right now, I'm thinking a no, just because there's way too many other responsibilities going on. Okay, sweetie. I hope that was helpful. And you said yes. Okay. Thank you for the feedback. Okay. Let's see. All right. Love E Cook 2843. My husband and I are best friends. Are you in the audience? And you're welcome, Arcana. Lovey Cook 2843. Are you here? Checking 1, 2, 3. Card. Oh, yay, you're here. Wonderful. Okay, so my husband and I were best friends for 20 years of our marriage. He had open heart surgery 3 years ago, and he's not the same person I knew. Any insights? I'm so sorry to hear that, sweetie. Now let's pull some cards. Yeah, the Anahata chakra, it's where we store our emotions. It's where we have all of our a lot of divine energy is stored there. So I've actually had more than one friend have open heart surgery, and I actually have a friend that had a full heart transplant, and they actually had memories from the person who gave them the heart transplant. It was one of the most interesting uh, things that I got to see. And he didn't know who the donor was, but because it was anonymous. But he had all of these memories and dreams of people and places and things that brought him to actual places that he visited, and he recognized people. I mean, it was really interesting. So heart surgery is not just a physical experience, it's a spiritual one. I've seen it. And my best friend in high school, she had her mitral valve replaced. And so I got to know a lot about pediatric cardiology. I wanted to be a cardiologist because I love the heart. And I got to learn a lot about it just from other people having major surgery done. But Yeah, it can also cause issues with oxygen to the brain and the ability to cope and things like that. I'm just speaking from experience, having been very close to people that had heart surgery. Okay. Okay. I'm getting that things might get a little better for you, so that's good. Yeah, and he had a triple bypass. I'm so sorry, dear. That's very serious. Okay. And then you heard of personality changes after major surgeries. Yeah, Karen, I've heard of those too. Yeah. Brain is a big one. Yeah. Okay, let's see what's going on. Let's ask again. Oh, that's very good. Okay. Okay. Lightning strikes. Yep, because that can mess with the neural blood, a bunch of things. Okay. All right, my dear. So they are asking you to try, and I know this is difficult, but try to just help him with the day-to-day reality of life and be a practical support system for him. Capricorns are very loyal and they are incredibly, like, these are the guys that may not say I love you every day, but they are the type of guy that'll fix your car. And you know, I was in a relationship with a Capricorn, and he wasn't the most emotional guy, but my God, if something broke in my apartment, he'd come right over and fix it for me. If something broke in my car, it was like, oh, thanks. So try to try to view love in a more practical way and a less emotional way, because he could be struggling in this area a little bit because he's going through a battle. Okay. Open heart surgery is a big deal. It can cause a lot of trauma. And it's important that you just kind of remain like a foundation for him as he recovers. You know, triple bypass is a big one. So it's important that, especially when it comes to, oxygen in the blood and other things. So another thing is, if there are practical ways that you can add to his overall recovery, those are also supported as well. And achieving those physical goals toward being healthier. Capricorns are also, like I said, very practical. So seeing this from a non-emotional perspective can help as well. Now, I asked kind of what you can expect in the future regarding what's going on, and I got things they're gonna work out in the end for you. Okay, I got the beautiful Nine of Pentacles. This is the wish card. So that's not Nine of Pentacles, excuse me, Nine of Cups. This is the wish card. And so what this tells me is that there will be some good things coming out of this, but they're just going to take some time. This is, this is a card of emotional satisfaction and self-contentment. So you can expect some fulfillment. It's just going to take a little bit of time and maybe some practical guidance. Now, I have a husband with an incurable chronic condition. And so whenever I see major effects in his personality or some of his symptoms start to arise, I will literally start monitoring his medications more, looking at what kind of food he's eating. Did you do your yoga today? Are you drinking enough water? I check in just to make sure that he's practicing the right self-care so he can stay grounded in his fighting the symptoms of this disease that he has. So I got the contentments coming your way. So that's a good thing. Things are going to get a little better for you. So I like seeing that. And you're both Scorpios. Oh, that's intense. Two Scorpios. Ooh, that's a very deep relationship. Now, for Scorpios, intimacy is very important. So you might want to look in that area as well. Are you experiencing enough intimacy emotionally, physically, mentally? And then finding practical ways like Capricorn to help you with that area. But they're asking that you remain kind of impartial as you go through this, because if you can see back here, there is a war going on, and this is Balarama, and he's just farming and feeding both sides of the armies. He's just like, I'm just here to farm. I'm not going to get involved in this war. So they're asking you to be impartial when it comes to his health routines and moving forward, okay? That's the main energy that I'm getting. And this is also the card of farming. So more fruits and vegetables, especially organic, in his diet can also help in this area too. So, and then, yeah, okay. Yeah, that can happen. That can happen because Scorpios are really intense. So, and you would know you are one. So just give him that time. Try to remain impartial with your feelings. Try to introduce, new healthy things to his diet and routine, and maybe he'll start to come back. Okay, sweetie. But I did get the wish card, so that's good. Okay. Now, oh, good to see you, Roman. All right. So let's go to the lovely Shem. Are you here, my dear? Shem, Shem, Shem. Is Shem here? And good night. Good night, Roman. And you're so welcome, lovely cook. Thank you for allowing me to look into that for you, sweetie. Oh, good to see you, Shem. Okay, yay, I'm glad you're here. Your chart. Oh, okay. So I'll have to open that up a little bit. Let's see. Shem. Just give me a second to open that up. Okay, yeah, as you know, seventh house is getting hit with Saturn. That's Shani Dev. He's going to cause some issues in and around your relationships, especially marriage. He's going over your Sun and your Mercury, so that can cause miscommunications, issues with ego. This is opposite your ascendant moon, Pluto, and Uranus, and so that is a lot of energy getting hit with Shani, and it's been going on since last year and a little bit the year before. It's gonna hit a peak in 2026. Okay, so just be aware of that into 2027. They'll be officially out of Pisces, sidereal Pisces, February of 2028. So you're going to be in this for a while. So it's important that you really focus on those relationships. Let me see where Jupiter is for you. Okay, Jupiter's in your 10th house of career. This is an area where you can put your focus in because it's being blessed, and it's opposite your you're going through your Jupiter opposition. Yay. So your 4th house of home and family and your 10th house of career are being supported. So that's good. But Shani is hitting your marriage house. And so that's going to cause some issues there, ego battles, miscommunications, feeling separate. Emotions are going to be at a high, things like that. So it's important that you're taking out time to ground yourself, especially because you just entered, let's see, you're in Saturn, Rahu. Okay, let me read that for you. It's the tertiary energy. And I'm going through Saturn Mahadasha too. So I am right there with you, dear. And you got Saturn and Venus in Taurus. Saturn's not in a bad sign for you. So that's good. He likes being in Venus's house. And that is in your 9th house of spirituality. So really leaning into your spiritual practices are going to help you stay grounded. So let me look into Dasha of Saturn. And I like to go 3 divisions deep because it really gives me some specific information as to what you can expect regarding events moving forward. And you're going to be dealing with this energy until January 19th. Oh, okay. So you're about to step out of that. I'll tell you what you've been dealing with and then what you can expect. So this period can be difficult. Let's see if Rahu is placed in Gemini. No. Saturn is in the 3rd. No. Or 11th. No. Okay. You've been going through some stuff, honey. There's been some misery, a little bit of suffering, and I'm sorry to hear that. If you are, things are going to get much better after the 19th. So January 19th through June 6th is a much better period for you, dear. It's going to be better than what you've been going through. This is where you can think of doing some concrete things. You might be thinking about purchasing land, building, or vehicle. You can enjoy the company of good friends, and there may be an inheritance or something like that coming your way. But you're headed for better times. And it's after the 19th, so you only have a week left. So that's the good news, okay? Yay, I like seeing that. If you want to schedule a session, we can go more into your Varshapal or something like that. But that's the main energy that I'm seeing. the relationships are getting hit pretty hard, sweetie. So one of the best mantras that you can do, yes, I'm glad that you're doing spiritual practices that help interfering with relationships. And he's getting it. So that would explain the relationship issues because he's getting slammed by Saturn. Okay. It's difficult in laws interference. Okay. Yeah. So it's good to, make sure that you are doing everything you can to protect yourself, hold up those boundaries, do everything that you can to make sure that it doesn't get too out of control. Okay, sweetie. So I hope that was helpful. That's the main energy that I got. Let me see. I'm going to look at your Varshapal. Actually, let's see really quick. Yeah, there's some wars going on the second half of this month. And then we have eclipses. So it's going to be a little bit up and down for you. But based on your chart specifically, it will get better after the 19th. That's the main thing that I'm seeing because you've been going through it. All right, sweetie. And questions are open for tickers. And right now I'm just going through lightning round. Thank you, Venus. And let's see. Welcome, MN Girl 68. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so is Salama Watena here? Please check in. You are next. Are you here? Please check in. Yay, you're here. Melissa. Oh, lovely. Good to see you, Melissa. Thank you for joining us, dear. Okay. Salama Watena. Okay. Yes, January 19th, Shem. Things will get better. I like giving people good news. Okay. General reading for 2026. Now, this is for everyone who follows and subscribes to my channel. I did a 2026 readings for all signs, and they're in chapters. And it's based on your sun, moon, and rising Vedically. There's a calculator in the description. It was a lot of work, but if you go, you can get a big, I go dates and times, and I talk about all the major conjunctions and everything. So you can check out that video. I put a lot of research into 2026 because there's some stuff going on. I warned everybody about this week that with all the wars going on, it would feel like we're going under wars, and that happened. So a lot of Vedic astrologers, Western astrologers were talking about it as well. It's big stuff. So, and then we got the eclipse on February 17th, and then March 3rd, we got another one. So I've been doing lots of remedies because it's right on my moon and sun. So I'm getting eclipsed this year, guys, every 18 years. Just help my husband through one. He can help me through this one. Okay, let's see. Okay, so here's the main energy in and around you. Okay, darling. So the main thing that I'm seeing is the guides are really going to work with you on your third house. What's the third house? The third house is the intellect. We call it the buddhi. It's when we're born, we immediately start to discern our world. We're born with these very smooth infant brains, and then we start developing those beautiful wrinkles through interacting with our environment, learning about it, speech that eventually turns into reading, that turns into writing, that turns into who we are in this world as an intellect. Okay, like how our brains work, how we communicate, how we interact. This is what they're going to be working with you on this year, your communication. So if you feel like you've been misunderstood, there have been some issues with communications. This is, this also represents the internet, things like that, the way that we stay in touch with each other. There are some things that you're going to be working on in this house with the guides. Okay, so I did go to my Mahabharata oracle because my tarot cards said no for some reason. They were like, nope, we want you to work over here. I got the preconditions card. So what does this tell me? This tells me that you are going to be working with setting some very clear boundaries when it comes to your communications. in your speech and the way that you interact with others and intellectualize the world. So this is Goddess Ganga, and she flows into your reading because boundaries are becoming sacred vows for you this year. So Ganga does not negotiate her worth. Her conditions are not punishments. They were declarations of sovereignty. So she honors herself. She has a lot of emotional autonomy, and she incarnated as a beautiful woman at a time where a lot of those things were denied to women. And she just stood up for herself and said, "It's my way or the highway, buddy, or you're not marrying me." So she was very strong. So her departure was when she did leave her husband because he broke his vow. It was not abandonment, it was consequence. So when it comes to your communications, you need to start setting some consequences for the way that people treat you and for the way that any miscommunications arise. A good example of this would be, someone who makes false promises or lies or takes advantage of your good nature. Okay. Um, this card is telling me that you need to state your terms very clearly, and agreements must be mutual and respected. So they're saying this because silence or self-betrayal can weaken bonds with others. So in love and your relationships, you need to define your expectations very openly, because healthy relationships honor those boundaries without resistance. When it comes to your career or finances, you need to clarify your context, your roles, your responsibilities, and protect your time and energy. Anyone who wastes that, set that boundary. When it comes to your health this year, your body does require limits, and overextension can lead to depletion. So it's important that you set boundaries there as well. But know that boundaries are not walls. Like I talked about this at the beginning of the show, so I must have been tapping into you a little bit. Boundaries, they're not walls, they're just bridges to mutual respect. Okay, so that's the main energy that I got in and around you for the year. And best of luck setting those boundaries. That's very clear, especially when it comes to those communications. Very true. Okay, good. Stand up for yourself, sweetie. You're worth it. And yeah, war energy all month, honey. And then we move into eclipses. It's drama. And I said something big is going to happen 8th, 9th, and 10th, because that's when the wars are at their height. And then they got Jupiter aspecting. And that's when we saw the crazy stuff in the news. And it was like, take deep breaths. We got this. So, okay. So next we have, oh, okay. You want a positive affirmation. Okay. Well, I will go ahead and pull a card from the Mahabharata. And we will see what kind of affirmation that they have for us there. Ooh, I got a good one. Yay. Okay, so I want to leave you all with this. This is just a collective affirmation for everybody. And I love that you're here because this totally fits in with the crowd that we are. And I got the beautiful intuition card. This is Sanjaya. This tells me I got some psychics in the audience, some fellow readers, some fellow dreamers. When Sanjaya appears, unseen truths will reveal themselves to us. So Sanjaya's gift was perception beyond physical sight. He used that beautiful Ajna chakra, which is the intuitive sense. He bridged worlds. He translated divine awareness into understanding. His intuition served others with a lot of clarity and truth. So this card signals the need for heightened inner perception, especially as we go through the wars this month. And trust those subtle impressions and synchronicities that you guys are getting from your guides, because they are trying to get your attention. Like we were doing our mantras this morning, and I like to bring in flowers. And there was the cutest little jumping spider on one of the flowers. It was like one of those ones that you see on the YouTube videos. They're like this with the little eyes and the helmets. And he was just looking right at me, going back and forth. The cutest little dude. And I was like, I got to look up spider totems, especially jumping spider totems. And I did, and it really fit the situation that I was in. And I was like, thank you, Spirit, for sending me this little spider. And he's just kind of hanging out on the flowers on the altar. And then I eventually put them out in nature. And I gave him a little drop of water. And there's a few little aphids that come in on some of the flowers. And so I put that on his little petal and, tried to encourage him to eat. It was a whole thing this morning. It was really fun. But looking for those synchronicities, it could be coins, it can be feathers, it can be little insects, it can be butterflies. Pay attention, because that spirit That's the other realms trying to get your attention and help you this week. So this card is all about inner perception. Trust those synchronicities. In love and relationships, listen to your intuition. Pay attention to those emotional undercurrents, especially because there are wars going on, literal and in the sky. And know that when it comes to your career, your money, things like that, pay attention to instincts during decision making. So, and then health, that's also important. Mind and body awareness deepens because meditation can enhance a lot of clarity and balance. So if you're doing your yoga asanas, if you're spending more time in meditation, if you're doing pranayama, whether it's Bastrika, alternate nostril breathing, I made a video of that on my channel if you want to look into that. That's really supported this week because we need to be balanced and grounded despite all the crazy energy in and around us. So know that the answers that you seek already reside within. So that's the main energy that I got for the collective. And I really hope that was helpful. And then I'm going to go ahead and give you guys thank you, Roman. I'm going to go ahead and give you guys a mantra. This is a good one it's like the nuclear bomb of happiness mantras. It's a very good mantra to do, and it's super protective. Okay. And you can practice this. You can also look it up on YouTube videos, but this is very, very powerful. Okay. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devyasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devyasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhuvasvaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo Devyasya Dhimahi Dhyo Yona Prachodayat. And that is what's called the Gayatri mantra. And it is one of my favorite mantras to recite. If you do it in the mornings, especially between 4 and 6 a.m., 108 times, it's like putting on spiritual armor. So everyone, I hope that was helpful. And thank you Venus for being the mod with the most. Thank you, Roman, for your lovely comments. Karen, thank you for hanging out. Salam, just thank you everyone for hanging out with me. I'm going to be here next week with the lovely Marina from Heart Centered Tarot, and we're going to be doing readings, so you don't want to miss that. And if you want to schedule a reading with me, all of my links are in the chat. I had a lot of fun with you guys tonight, and I love chatting. I love this time of the week, because I get to tap into your beautiful energy and connect. So if you want to receive my newsletter, just go ahead and email me. It's michelle@astrologicaltarot.com, and I'll put you on my newsletter. Other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing week. And oh yeah, I also have a New Year's special going. So if you want a discounted reading, it's on my site. I think that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week ahead. Know that there's some wars going on in the sky, but if you do the things that I talked about at the beginning of the video and stay grounded and not reactive, you're going to be just fine. And rely on that intuition, because a lot of you in the audience are tapped in, and it's so important that we collectively tune in to what Spirit's telling us so that we can be there for each other. Om Shanti, Om Peace, Om Love. Take care, everyone.
Sacred knowledge from the stars. Vedic truth heals ancient scars. Mantras clear the karmic way, bringing light to guide each day. Let the planets show their signs as the cards and stars combine. Ancient wisdom flows through